Soccer 605 here with repeat champion, state champion Coach Merle Aske. That's a really good game tonight.
Yeah, it was, whenever we play O'Gorman, we know it's going to be a tough game, and we got, the goals came really late, but they came, and we were really lucky to get in there. We were lucky in the first half. O'Gorman didn't put 2 or 3 in on us. We told the girls at halftime they just need to, relax and start playing our game and try to find a rhythm. And once we got in that rhythm, we put a lot of pressure on them, and they held us off for the full 40, and we got into the overtime. Once we got in the overtime, we found a way to put one in. So.
Well, every once in a while, the soccer gods will give you just a tiny little gift, and if you're ready, you can take advantage of it, and that's just exactly what happened.
Yep, that's the way it goes sometimes. It's all about breaks when you get to this point in the season and this point in the tournament. And luckily we got those breaks at the end. And luckily we were able to hold them off and not give them one in the first half that made it a lot tougher on us.
What would it have taken you to keep Paige Summers out of that game? I mean, she scored that first goal with her arm taped up and wrapped up, and what would it have taken to keep her out of the game? Well,
the only way we get her out of the game is we need to tranquilize her. She's a tough individual, and she has so much heart and so much spirit. We can't even get her to sit out of practice when she's injured. We have to beg, borrow, and plead, and she gets very upset and angry when we just make her stay out of practice, let alone a game. And she's just such a tremendous individual, and a tremendous athlete, and she has such heart that she's going to give it all she's got, no matter what. She'll give it down to her last breath if she has to, and that's about what it took today.
Well, you got to admire both teams. Just a very, very difficult game, and in the end, it's kind of a shame that one has to lose. But that's athletics for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it is. O'Gorman's got a great team. And Ryan does a great job. Him and his staff. Those girls are always ready to go, and we know every time. I think this is our first win in 6 tries against them in the state tournament. So we're pretty happy to get over O'Gorman in the state tournament. But like I said, it always comes down to a couple of breaks, and O'Gorman is such a tough team. It's really tough to get by them, and we got really lucky to get it done today.
Well, thanks a lot, Merle, for hanging with us. Is it too early to start talking three-peat?
Well, it's always too early. What we got to do is get back for the competitive season, and we'll go back again in the spring, and just start working. And once we get to the fall, we'll see what happens.
Well, best of luck to you, and maybe we'll be here together next year after your team hoisted the cup once more.
Yeah, we will see what happens.